What's up? What's up? We live. We live. Let me get a sound check. Let me get a sound check. 1, 2. What's up? What's up? We live. All right. Cool. Cool. So I just did my manual sound check and everything. How's everybody doing? How's our volume looking? I need to make sure my volume is good on this part over here because... Okay, I know what's going on. I know what's going on. This is perfect right here. This is perfect right here. So we had a 12. We had a 12. We need to get that volume down then. Is that what's going on? Is that what's going on? Let me know. All right, let's get these hellos and how are yous going and everything, because you know we like to get right into what we gonna break into and talk into on today. What's up, G Mama Grows, Miss Shirley, OG Gardner, the Wickershire Project? What's up, buddy? I haven't seen you in a while, the Wickershire Project. I know you came a few weeks ago and said hey as well, but glad to see you back in action, my buddy. Good to see you. Lavender for Luck, wonderful to see you, my wonderful moderator. One-man army on tonight. It's great to see you tonight. Let's get a roar for Lavender for Luck, because she in here moderating, doing her thing, and she is doing, like I said, doing her thing. It's been a long day, y'all. But Wickershire said he'll be right back. He hadn't fueled the generator. Okay, so let me see. GT Junior Grows in Alaska. How you doing, bro? It's good to see you here in the Lion's Den on tonight. Black's Tropical Homestead, my soil brother and my soil sister. How y'all doing on today? I hope y'all doing good, because I'm doing good, y'all. Let me tell you what I'm doing good today, y'all. Have had a long day, but had a good day. So Tammy, how you doing tonight? It's good to see you in the Lion's Den on tonight, my tiny garden fam. Wonderful to see you. Great to see you. Hope your day has been wonderful. Hope everything has been going well for you. Audrey Willis, what's up, family? How you doing tonight? Great to have you here in the Lion's Den on tonight, y'all. Great to have everybody here in the Lion's Den. GT Junior Grows in Alaska says we perfect on the volume. So if we perfect on the volume, then that means that we good to go. We good to go. Sifting some soil 55. Mona Newell, it's good to see you on today, family. Great to have you here in the Lion's Den on tonight. She says hello everyone, but driving and listening. So y'all see what my cups say. This cup is not the truth, y'all. Mornings are very magical, but I thought that this cup was pretty awesome. Y'all want to see what's on the other side of it? Take a guess whose cup this is, y'all. Take a guess whose cup that I'm taking on today and using it as my own. But yes, we're gonna give it 5 minutes to let everybody stroll in, say hello, get your how are yous in, because when it hits 5:35 Central, we're going to go right into what we're going to talk about today. We're going to roll all the way through that thing, and then we're going to hit the chat. We're going to get that thing going. So, let me see here. What's up, the Psalm 146 lady? How you doing tonight, family? It's good to see you. Wonderful to have you here in the Lion's Den on tonight. Look at me. All right, so make sure, for anyone catching the replay, much love to you. Make sure you smash that like button. Get this thing to drive forward and drive upward. And we're going to get this thing rolling. So let me see here. Make sure that I don't miss nobody before we get rocking and rolling and everything on today. Looks like I haven't missed nobody. Looks like I haven't missed anyone. So, all right. We still got some time. We still got a little bit of time. We got like 30 seconds or something like that. 30 seconds before we get started. But hey, much love to everybody here on today. And a roar for everybody who is here on today, y'all. Much love to everybody. Much love to all the people who have shown up on tonight and all the people who couldn't make it as well. All right. So let me see. Did we get somebody else? All right, cool. Make sure that y'all share this video out if you would like to. And we are going to get rolling. So today we are going to talk about securing our harvest through pollination and solid fruit sets. So there's two parts of this particular part of securing your harvest. There's the pollination part of it, and then there's the securing a solid fruit set part of it. So today we're going to talk about this kind of with a quick little deep dive, and we're going to talk about some of the important things and some of the things you might look for, some of the things that you might see in the process of pollination, and some of the different methods that we might go about doing that pollination or letting that pollination happen. So we're going to get right into it. So pollination is key to the whole process of securing your garden harvest. Now, when I think about pollination, I think about a flower getting pollen, or pollen hitting the flower from the air, whatever it might be, and that fruit being able to actually establish itself. Even from a human standpoint, you know, an egg has to be pollinated for it to be able to become whole and become a whole person. So the same thing is happening with the process of the fruits that we create, or not that we create, that we shepherd and facilitate happening and everything. So pollination is key to the whole process of securing your harvest, and usually it's handled by bees for the majority of the fruit sets, but you'd be surprised to see how many other tiny insects can assist in the process of pollination. So of course, when we think about pollination, the bee is the first bug that comes to mind, or the first insect that comes to mind when we're talking about, hey, let's get these flowers pollinated and let's get these flowers going. But you would be surprised to know that there are many other little tiny critters that get all up in those flowers and have a little taste of what's going on up in there. Because pollen, not just the pollen, but the sticky components that are created from the female flowers themselves, they play a huge role in attracting the insects, because the pollen and the sticky component of what's on the female flower for receiving the pollen, they're both pretty much sugary. They both have somewhat of a sweet scent that is used to draw a certain type of pollinator, because that scent, of course, a lot of things go by sight to get to the flowers, but once they get amongst a field of flowers, then it's a competition in those flowers with what flowers actually do become pollinated. And the scent that sugary substance, either the pollen or the liquid that is actually there to receive that pollen on the female flowers, it has to compete with all the other flowers in the field and draw those bees. Or the ants, which is another insect that might help pollinate, which we're going to talk about that a little bit more as we go forward. But yes, you'd be surprised to know that ants are a huge pollinator for the garden. So one thing in particular that's highly responsible for accomplishing pollination is the sugar ant, like I just said. And while they can cause issues in the garden, this is one benefit. But let me tell you right now, that one benefit of the sugar ants pollinating everything in your garden does not outweigh the negatives that they add to the garden. Because as you may know, ants like to bring aphids up to your plants and lay them all up and down your plants for them to just latch onto them, just start sucking on them. And as those aphids suck on your plants with their piercing, sucking mouth parts, they literally secrete a sugary substance out of their abdomen, or out of their, where they release their excrements from. So that sugary substance, you see a theme here. Everything out there in your garden is producing sugars of all kinds, and it's attracting all kinds of things because they're just like that. And when the aphids go up on the plants from the ants and everything, they're going to draw out that sugary liquid, or they're going to produce it from their body, and the ants are literally going to farm the aphid poop. So while the ants may actually go to your flowers and go from flower to flower and help your fruit sets accomplish or happen, you might want to actually consider, hey, these ants, they ain't doing me too many favors. They ain't doing me too many favors compared to the one thing that they may bring to the garden. So yes. So between all the insects, bees, butterflies, moths, and wasps, they account for the majority of the pollination because their capabilities of flight. This allows for a wider application of the particular pollen in that situation. So that's something that you might want to really be considering. Is bees aren't the only thing that help with pollination, but the flying insects in general are gonna do the most as far as pollination goes. So let's touch the chat just real quick. Let's touch on the chat real quick. Let's take a 2-minute break. We're gonna touch on the chat, and we're just gonna see if anyone came in that we need to say hello to, and then we're gonna get right back into it. So let's see here. What's up, Homestead in the Hood? Good to see you, fam. All that Homesteader. How you doing tonight? How you doing tonight? Ultimate Acres. Hey, fam. It's good to see you. Wonderful to see you, family. Glad you can make it to the Lions Den on tonight. Yeah, G Mama Gross says, right, I've been noticing flies pollinating flowers. That's a great point. Flies get around here and they get to pollinating a whole lot too. They're definitely everywhere. And Wickershire says, watched Asian apple orchards be hand pollinated due to the decline that year in bees. A few years ago, I watched this happen. Talk about loving your orchard. Super hard work. That is super hard work, and that actually is touching on the next thing that I'm going to bring up in my actual points that I have here. So awesome. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Yes, GT Junior grows it. Ants do bring aphids. They do bring aphids. Ultimate Maker says, I see it, no matter whether you're human, animal, or plant, the female always got competition. Hey, I mean, I ain't even say it. Look, you said it, nature said it, nature's doing it, you doing it. I'm just messing with you. But no. But what's up, Cassandra Dominique? Good to see you, fam. Wonderful to see you on tonight, family. We just chopping it up in the Lions Den. We took a little break there to just talk to anyone who might have joined. If I missed anybody, much love to you. Didn't mean to do that, but just trying to get through what we're going to talk about on today. So the next thing I was going to talk about is the other option is hand pollination, in which a small brush of pollen is applied to the flower. And like I said, a brush of pollen, like this might be done in so many different ways. You could use a paintbrush, you could use a makeup brush, you could use a Q-tip. You know, there's so many ways that you could go about hand pollinating. You could even use electric toothbrushes. You know, that's for the flowers, and we're going to talk about this, for the flowers that have one flower and two sexes. That is one of the most effective ways to hand pollinate. But we'll get to that more as we talk more about what we're going to bring up on tonight. So, not all flowers are created equally. So with flowers, when it comes to pollination, there's a few factors that you have to weigh in regards to the flowers and how that pollination may occur. Some plants are able to produce male and female parts on the same flower. An example of this is a tomato, while others produce male and female flowers separately. Cucurbits, which are your cucumbers, your cucumbers, your watermelons, your squash, those are all cucurbits. These flowers, both of these types of flowers, the tomato and the cucumber, are known as Monicious plants. So, let's see here. I'm going to type this in the chat real quick in all caps because I want y'all to see how this is kind of spelled. It's it's an interesting word. So these plants are called Monicious plants, and I may be pronouncing that slightly wrong, but hey, excuse the pronunciation. I gave you the spelling. You can find out how it's pronounced if you would like to. But these are plants. These are plants that are able to produce both flowers on the same plant. And you know, other plants have, like some other plants, and this is a whole different category of plants, but these other plants have only one sex for any particular plant of that species. So an example of this is a papaya. The papaya plant having male versions and female versions of the same plant. So when you're looking at a papaya plant and you plant 4 different seeds and you get 3 males and 1 female, hey, you can get your fruit from that 1 female, but it's going to have a lot of pollen, and those males aren't going to produce actual fruit. Your females of that particular type of plant are going to be the ones to produce those fruit, but they need pollen. So typically, if you planted 5 papaya seeds and you had 5 papaya trees, you would want to have 4 females and 1 male of the same type of tree. So this is definitely something you want to consider when you're planting these types of plants. And these plants are called dioecious plants. So let me spell that. What's up, Tiffany Gray? Let me spell that. Hey, love. I'm just kind of going through the lesson here, and I will hit the chat when we get to the end of this. So these are known as dioecious plants, and you have a male papaya and you have a female papaya, but this is one plant, one sex. So it gets kind of confusing, but I just wanted to make sure that I gave those 2 words and separated them out and really broke down what I'm talking about as far as those plants go. So like, we'll have a Q&A at the end of this and everything, and you'll be able to ask any questions about what I'm talking about and all that cool stuff, and listen to Rusty bark in the background. But let me see here. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I had to step away for a split second. Because somebody decided to knock on the door, and that's not their fault. So, okay. Next thing is bugs versus humans. This is the next thing that we're going to talk about in regards to the pollination that we were referring to before we were not so rudely interrupted. So there are pros and cons to bug pollination and human pollination. And these pros and cons, they're not really, as far as the bugs go, they're not really a con, but we'll get into that and we'll kind of break down why there's pros and cons to both of these pollinations that you could actually do with your plants. And, you know, while bug pollination is oftentimes way more thorough, the critters, they don't differentiate between your plants. So with relying on specifically bugs to pollinate, you need to make sure that your plant spacing is on point, because these bugs, they're not going to differentiate the pollen and be looking to give you your perfect heirloom tomatoes that you're trying to produce every year and everything like that. So you have to really be considerate of your plant spacing if you're going to completely rely on your insects to pollinate the different plants that show up in the garden and all that. So that's something to really consider, and you really have to make sure that that spacing is on point. Otherwise, you're just gonna have mixed pollination if you're relying on them like that. So hand pollination is straight up intentional, and you can be really particular about everything that you do and the crosses that you make if you do decide to do crosses. But hand pollination is the best way to ensure that your heirloom varieties get continued exactly as they are, and for you to secure seed of the exact variety that you're trying to make sure that you can produce and all that good stuff. So that's super important that you do it just like that. So it's super important that you do it like that if you're trying to be specific about what you're trying to produce and all that, because if you want to just plant everything willy-nilly and just produce fruit, it really doesn't matter. You could just literally hand pollinate anything with what you want to pollinate with, and you're gonna get the fruit of what the mother fruit represents. So if you say pollinated a butternut squash with a North Georgia candy roaster squash, you're gonna produce a situation where you're gonna get, if the butternut squash was the female of those that you cross-pollinated with, you're gonna get you a butternut squash, but those seeds are gonna produce something crossed over between the two of them. And what you see up there beside me over here is the North Georgia candy roaster squash. So if that were to be bred with the male flower from the butternut squash, you would end up with a North Georgia Candy Roaster squash fruit, but then all the seeds would be crossed up and changed into something completely different and hybridized. So, yes. And okay, so the pro to the insects pollinating your flowers and everything is the fact that they're gonna get so thorough with that pollination that if you have enough bee activity, enough butterfly activity, wasp activity, whatever you have, they're gonna make sure that everything's getting some pollen, and you're gonna have a lot of fruit sets, and you're gonna be good to go. But you have to consider things like your trees that you're growing, your crawling insects. Your trees, you're not gonna be able to get up and pollinate those trees by hand unless you do something like Wickershire is talking about, and you're getting up higher with ladders and hand pollinating all your flowers and everything like that. That's true dedication. And you really have to be about your business with that. But this is also why people plant with trees. It really doesn't matter because you're usually seeking the fruit. But if you're seeking the seed from something that is true to seed, after it produces its offspring, it's gonna definitely be something that is different if you have trees mixed amongst itself. So you got to be considerate about that. You have to make sure that you're not, if you're producing trees like I guess a papaya, you know, those cross up really easy. But if you have papayas that are really similar to each other, they also produce seed that are really similar to the parents as well. So there's a lot more that I could say about that, but I'm not going to get too deep into that part about things. But, you know, the con to the bugs, obviously, you know, they're just crossing anything that they want. But the pros to you hand pollinating is you can be very specific with what you're trying to expect out of the crosses that you're trying to get, or whatever you're trying to test and produce from those tests, those coming generations and everything. You can experiment with those, and you can produce something that is really specific and personal to what you want to produce for your garden like that on a very high level, if you do decide to go about it in that kind of way. So at this point, we've finished everything that we're going to talk about in the actual like talking points period of what we're going to talk about and all that good stuff. So here's where I open the floor up to questions, comments, anything that you want to talk about in regards to everything that I talked about today. And we're going to keep it rocking and rolling as we say our goodbyes after that. And we'll be out this thing. But I know I've been absent in the chat. I've been seeing the chat on the screen here, but I haven't been really looking at it. I've been trying to somewhat focus on what I'm talking about and look at y'all as I talk about it with you. So, you know, just making it something that we could come back to if we want to and really reference the different material that I'm talking about. And what I do plan to do is take this content and make a video out of the content and everything. And what I can do as far as the videos go is just I can edit it relatively easily because I didn't stop and talk in the chat so much throughout the live. But now that we're in the period of the live where I'm going to talk to the chat, then I could take this part of the live and, you know, we can make it specifically what it is, with who it is, and what we gonna talk about. So let's see here. Let's see who is in the live stream on tonight. Let's see who's all up in here. I know I've been saying hey selectively through the stream. Let me take a moment to say hello to my sweet wife. I know that I just got a second to say hello because I was going through everything that I was talking about and all that good stuff. But I'm glad that y'all stuck through it, and I'm glad that y'all are still here. But much love to you, wifey. The Wickershire Project, okay, Homestead Hood says, peace be unto everyone. Peace be unto you, my family. The Wickershire Project says, if men become Monicious, they'll never leave the house. Truth, sorry, off my brand, Bostonian, and me coming through. That's all good, all love. Have your fun. We're having a good time trying to just learn a little something while we at it. Let's see here. Okay, Ultimate Acres says, Lioncrest, this may be elementary to you, but my sprouted seedlings and transplants are dampening off, and I'm growing in Coconut Coir and Clonex Liquid. It's hot and windy in Arizona. What's your humidity looking like if you're dampening off, family? What's going on? What's going on with that dampening off? Are you using a humidity dome? What's going on with that? Give me a few more details in regards to the environment of where those seeds were upon them dampening off, because if you're dry, windy, and hot in Arizona, that is not conditions for your typical dampening off of seedlings. So let me know. Okay, Psalm 146 lady says, I messed up and planted 4 different kinds of heirloom tomatoes very close together. Hey, well, I'll tell you this, Psalm 146 lady. What you could do is you could go out there with... So what I would do is I would go out there with like a paintbrush or like a makeup brush, 4 different kinds, 4 different makeup brushes, and I would just go out there and just try to just get that flower stimulated from that flower. But you can't tell if a bee's already come and done that business. But if the flower hasn't started to develop fruit yet, you can usually always go over there and give it a little stimulation. And then once you do that stimulation, if the fruit set starts to happen shortly after your stimulation, you can have a clear indicator of if you were the cause of that stimulation, therefore meaning that you crossed that heirloom with itself, making the heirloom be true to seed, to where you can now plant this heirloom again the next season. But if you see the fruit already developing, like a little piece of little baby green tomato coming on the plant, you're gonna already know that that plant has been pollinated previously. And your flowers are gonna tell the story if you pay close attention to them, and you're gonna really have a good indicator of what's going on. So just make sure that you're using those different brushes for each different heirloom variety, and making sure you don't cross that thing up if you ain't trying to. Homestead Liz says, I planted over 6 dozen okra seeds. What kind of flowers are they? Okay, so your okra seeds... Oh, okay. Well, your okra seeds are definitely... they're Monicious flowers. So your okra seeds are going to have, within one flower actually, both sexes. So it's going to be one plant, 2 sexes. So, you know, your okra seed's going to be able to self-pollinate itself. Especially if you got up in there with a makeup brush and sprinkled it around too. If you did that, you would really have an actual successful pollination for sure with that okra. But, you know, that brings up an interesting point. I bet you could cross... Well, of course you can cross your okra, but... Hey, if you wanted to cross your okra, you could also collect pollen from a one plant having 2 sexes, and you could take some of that pollen to another plant that has 2 sexes that's also Monicious, and you could get yourself a little crossed up okra like that from the seed of that okra that you're getting it from. So, let's see. Okra flowers are beautiful, Psalm 146 lady. They very much are. Hey, and you know what? I'll tell y'all this too. Since we kept the actual little like lesson thing under the time of 30 minutes, if we go over with the Q&A, that's fine, because like I said, I'm gonna be trying to reproduce this and make it into another video segment as well, because I actually have it recording right now, so I'll be able to do that, so no worries. What's up, J3GS Farm? What's up, Container Crops? How y'all doing tonight? I hope y'all doing well, family. J3GS Farm says, Lioncrest, hello, garden. Fam, hello to you, my brother. Hello to you, my brother. It's great to see you, family. Ultimate Acre says, that might be me out there with my plate and utensils I came to eat. What's up, Redbird Farm? How you doing tonight? It's great to see you in the Lion's Den on tonight. I hope everything's been well with you on today. I hope you've had a wonderful day, family. Did y'all see that? I got my pinky out. I didn't mean to do that. Let me see. So Black's Tropical Homestead says, we've been hand pollinating all our watermelon. And that's super important that you do that if you ain't trying to have a whole bunch of watermelon crosses out there, and you doing the right thing, fam. And I've been doing the same dang thing with my watermelon. I actually have some pretty nice watermelon sets on my container watermelons right now. My in-ground watermelons particularly, they are just now starting to vine, and that's perfectly fine with me, because coming into June like this, just starting to vine, that means by mid-July, like by early July, they're going to be fruiting, and then by mid-August, those fruit are going to be about done. Mid-August, late August, and that's perfect for me because, you know, I'm not in a hurry, and the container watermelons are going to finish around like July, so I'll be able to have a watermelon crop July for the container watermelon, and then after that for the and then August for the ground watermelon, which are bigger. Let me see. GT Junior Grows Alaska says, creating a hybrid melon. That's awesome, bro. I love it. I love it. Okay, Wickershire Project says, Lioncrest, how do you feel about growing food from grocery bought veggies and fruits? I feel there is controversy here. Theory that store-bought item is a bad way to plant seeds. You know, if you can grow the food, you can grow it, and I think that's good in most circumstances. If you're looking to produce food, I don't think it's a bad thing. But if you're looking to produce seed, I think you need to consider where you're starting your stock from. I think that's really important. So that's my opinion on that. Like I said, that's my opinion. Psalm 146 lady says, question, what kind of hybrid am I going to end up with if my black Crim crosses with my purple Cherokee? That is for those tomatoes to give you that info, and you would have to test those seeds out, because I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen as a result of that. Likely the plants that come from those are going to be like a black, I mean, because if you have or purple or black or dark tinted plant, because if you have two genetic, like if you have two purple genetics and you breed the two purple genetics together, typically you'll end up with more purple down the line. But you never know if one of those purples or both of those purples had one green or one dark red that they bred into it, that some of your seedlings, the grandchildren of those original crosses, will end up being something else completely. So you have to consider that as well. When you start mixing genetics, you open up the treasure trove of what it is that those plants are, and you make those things burst wide open. But then you can reconfine it. You can catch that lightning in a bottle, but you gotta take those lines down, and you got to breed them, and you got to really look for those traits that you're looking for and cross into those singular traits. Once you get those singular traits and you get homogeneity through your plants, homogeneity meaning that those plants are similar, as you get down the line further and further, you can then call that the actual official cross of what you're looking for. This is called phenotypical hunting, and you go through it in a very meticulous process of may take years to produce one variety of seed. So okay, so Redbird Farm says, does it matter how close they are if they're potted in 5-gallon buckets? It doesn't matter if they're in the ground or buckets. The spacing is always going to matter, because the spacing is just a indicator for saying that, hey, if bugs were to come here and pollinate these plants, you would end up with a situation to where they're going to play grab bag with where they throw their pollen, because the way that bugs pollinate plants, they don't just eat some pollen and spit it on another plant. What they do is they'll get it on their body, then they'll go mess with other flowers, then they'll mess with other flowers, and they'll mess with other flowers, and they'll repeat that process through and through over and over again, creating a situation to where essentially you have a mixed grab bag. That's why if you plant the similar or same varieties in the same space, then you say space it about 250 feet from that same spot. 250 feet from that same spot, you could typically bank on you not getting cross-pollination on the inside borders of the plants. So even when you space your plants, you have to consider when those bugs or bees come into the other like beds, they may give you some mixing up of certain things, but it's going to be extremely low as far as what you get with that. So you're still going to have some genetic variance, but what's wrong with a little genetic variance? You know what I'm saying? That's why you know, that's why our people look like we look. You know, we got that genetic variance going. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got genetic variance. You know, this is what makes humans a wonderful thing. We do terrible things to the world we live in, but we are a beautiful creation. I'm not gonna get on that right now. We ain't gonna go deep right now. We already deep enough with some of these questions we getting into. So let me see here. What's up, Game Nerd Garden? Game Nerd Mom Garden. It's good to see you, fam. What's up, Pescatarian Gardener? You making it in for the Q&A, fam. You making it in for the Q&A. Any questions that you might have, drop them. If you want to just have some conversation, drop it. You know, we just chilling right now. We chilling right now. Let's get a roar for the chat. What's up, the everyday life of an OCD-ish chick? How you doing, family? How you doing, family? It's great to see you, fam. You can catch the replay if you want to get the other info. You can scroll it back if you want, or I'm gonna be doing an edited rendition of what we talking about on today, and hopefully I can bring that to y'all, you know what I'm saying, in the next day or so. But I'm gonna chop it up a little bit and bring it out exactly how it is. But we're gonna cut it to just the nitty gritty. We'll see how it works out. What's up, Princess Alyssa? How you doing, fam? It's good to see you in the Lions Den on the night. It's good to see everybody. Everybody showing up. Everybody showing up for the party. That's how folks do, right? Y'all showing up for the party afterwards, right? Y'all showing up for the after party. Y'all don't want to come here for the actual little, like, you know, the event. You know, you want to come for the event. Everybody just being all casual and civil. We're talking about the scientific terms of what we're talking about. Y'all like, bump that. Let's get to the after party. Nah, I'm talking trash. Let me. Homestead in the Hood says, what are the different types of flowers you mentioned? 3 thus far. So, the 3 different types of flower. There's 2 varieties of flowers. The Monicious Plants and the Dioecious Plants. But there are 3 different types within those categories. So, within the category of Monicious Plants, you have one plant, i.e. the tomato, eggplant, pepper, which produces one plant and 2 sexes on the same flower of that one plant. However, you then have your other variety of that same monoecious plant, which has one plant but 2 sexes on different flowers within that same one plant, making it still be a monoecious plant. But then within the dioecious plants, you have one type of plant, male or female. And then those plants can now cross, even if they're the same variety of even if you have, say, a pure, we'll call it red fury papaya. If you have a pure red fury papaya and you're crossing the male and female seeds, you're going to get the same genetics down the line. But if you're taking something else and you're crossing it, you're going to get different genetics. So, but yes, those dioecious plants have one plant, one sex. So yes, these are the 3 different varieties of the plants that we've talked about up to this point. So, okay. Okay. I was just checking a little text I got. What's up, Miss Native Cherokee? She says, sorry I'm late. Been super busy today. Bottled kombucha, made a fresh batch. That sounds delicious, fam. That sounds delicious. And hey, you still great even though you late. And it's all love either way. So Miss Native Cherokee says, then I had to cover the blueberries from birds. Man, them birds just can't get enough, can they? They do too much. What's up? TT Andel Homestead says, hello Lioncrest, no notification, but I came looking for you. Hey, much love, TT and glad you can make it to the Lions Den on tonight. Like I said, you can catch the replay or you can catch the edited rendition of this video or of this live stream that I'm gonna cut down and bring back in another fashion. So yes. What's up, my Renaissance grandma? She says, hey fam, listening while preparing dinner. Hey, well, much love to you and I'm glad you can make it. Toast to you. Hey, I hope that dinner turns out to be delicious for your family. Obviously, it's going to turn out delicious because of you making it. Hellsmaker says, I smuggled veggies and Applebee's from NYC to Arizona and the potatoes are growing lovely. They were store-bought too. Oh yeah, that sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. That's what's up right there. Okay, so let's see here. Let me see. I don't want to miss nothing in my question and answer section of what we're going to talk about. Okay, Wickershire Project says, Lioncrest, I think it's avocados that are also grafted much like citrus and apples. I wanted to grow an avocado from the seed, but I believe you will not get tasty avocado from it, merely ornamental. You can potentially get a tasty avocado from it, the Wickershire Project, but it would be akin to hitting the lottery, literally. Because, yes, those are kind of the odds when you're talking about those kind of fruit. Okay, let's see here. Hey, I'm glad y'all vibing, Ultimate Acres. Glad y'all vibing, Ultimate Acres. What's up, guys? Construction, how you doing, fam? It's good to see you here in the Lions Den on tonight. Good to see you here, family. I appreciate that, My Tiny Garden. She says, great information as always. Much love, I appreciate that. And then Miss Native Cherokee 70 says, hazelnut has both male and female on one tree. It's a hermaphrodite. Okay. And yeah, so Miss Native Cherokee, does the hazelnut, does it have like the male and female flowers on different spots on the same tree, or does it have like male and female flowers in one on the tree itself? As far as I think I might remember, and I could be very wrong, but like doesn't the hazelnut tree have like male flowers and then separate female flowers, but on the same tree? So they would be kind of similar to the situation that's going on with the squash plants or the cucumber plants, right? What's up, Uncle? What's up, Uncle G? How you doing? Audacity dawning. Oh, atmosphere. It's all good, fam. It's all good. You might be late, but you're still great, fam. You're still great, fam. So it's all love, though. It's all love. Much love to everybody here on tonight. And you know, we don't even seem to really have any more questions strolling in or nothing like that. But hey, last call for questions. But if there's no more questions, you can start saying your goodbyes and good nights, because we're gonna roll out here in the next 2.5 minutes. We got a last call of the night. We got a last call of the night for 2.5 minutes. Go ahead and say your good nights and everything to everybody, because we're about to wrap it up. We're about to just chill for the rest of the night and just kick back and relax from the tolls of the day. Hey, but yeah, check out all those links that our lovely moderator Lavender for Luck is linking for y'all tonight, because there's some great products on the Flipside Marketplace that you could order. There's great products, well, not products, but check out the Facebook page, check out the Instagram page, because we're going to start producing a little bit more content on the Instagram page. The Facebook page, I mean, you can check it out, but really just check out the channel and the content we got coming out on YouTube, but as well as the Instagram content that will be coming down the pipeline. But it's much love to everybody, and atmosphere, I'm glad you're going to catch that replay, and I'm glad that everybody has had a good time, it seems like. Game Nerd Mon Garden says, love the info. It's super important to know this kind of stuff, especially when you get into trees. 100%. I was looking for a response from Miss Native Cherokee, because I was asking about the okay, Miss Native Cherokee says just giving examples. Okay. I was trying to pick your brain. I'm imagining, I'm gonna look it up after live. I mean, I can look it up. Anybody can look anything up, right? I appreciate you though. Okay, so got it. She gave me an answer. Okay, so she says hazelnuts, they look completely different. The male has long pollen things that hang off the branches, not a flower. Females are a bit of a flower looking thing. Damn. So it is similar to the cucumber as far as them having completely separate male and female flowers on the same plant. That's crazy. That's awesome that, you know, genetics kind of take trees or vegetative plants in the same directions, because they have the same reproductive process. But yes, y'all know what that means. Y'all know what time it is. Hey, we've had a wonderful live on the night. I've had a wonderful time on the night. I hope y'all have had a great time. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But y'all know what that means. That's Farmer Q.